Hello, and welcome to The Whole Equation. During film production, directors make thousands of choices. When to cut.
Cut.
How to move the camera. When to use a close-up. Unfortunately, in Hollywood nowadays, these choices have become increasingly narrow. Movies are being edited faster and faster, and it's not just action movies and thrillers which do this. Even rom-coms now have average shot lengths of below 4 seconds. Directors combine fast editing with a camera which is almost constantly moving. And even the shot choices seem to have become more limited, with closer and closer shots of the actors' faces. There's nothing inherently wrong with any of these choices, but
it's all just the same thing over and over. We can't help ourselves.
So we're lucky. There are still Hollywood directors like Denis Villeneuve. Over the last decade, Villeneuve has made big-budget films, characterized by their uneasy and brooding atmosphere, which set them apart from most Hollywood blockbusters. And this is largely achieved because of his willingness to make his own choices. So what are these choices? Well, let's start with editing.
There's a technique which some film teachers use, which is to get a class load of people to watch a film and to click their fingers. This is why I'm doing this every time there's an edit. And you do it with old films, and it's like that at the beginning of a dance number, and then at the end there's another one. You do it in modern films, and you can't see the film anymore because it's clicking.
Fast editing has become the curse of modern Hollywood movies, where directors feel like they need to cut between shots quickly to keep the audience from getting bored.
When I see a movie that has been cut for YouTube on a big screen, you feel it. You don't have the time to. You just have a blast of shots. That you cannot appreciate or being influenced by, your brain cannot process because it's too fast.
Villeneuve doesn't always cut slower, but instead is willing to make a choice which suits a scene.
In the case of Sicario, it is not afraid of letting a shot stay.
Red Impala, 2 lanes over on my 10.
Copy that.
It's not afraid of hanging on to a particular shot so that you're looking, you literally start getting that looking around the corners, feeling paranoid about, what's happening, what's coming in, what am I frightened of, what am I worried about?
By holding a shot longer, Villeneuve can extract a different emotion from a scene.
I remember a shot I was shooting an actress beside a Xerox machine, and we had to for several reasons, let the action roll for 2 minutes or a minute and a half for continuity. And I remember what was happening, the tension that was rising in that shot. So I started in that movie to let the camera roll before the action and a long time after, just because there was something, the shot sometimes started to mean something different.
And it's this willingness to choose something different which inform every part of Villeneuve's direction. Let's say you have a dialogue scene with multiple characters. How do you shoot it?
A higher form. You forced our hand. We had to come up
Well,
with
lots of modern directors will shoot with a moving camera
Remind me again how you made your fortune start.
because it's a quick way to add energy to a scene. Villeneuve, however, tends not to do this, preferring to keep his camera still.
Colonel, the Secretary of Defense is on the line for you.
And when he does move the camera, it's usually a slow and deliberate shot, avoiding camera shake. Take, for example, how he shoots the opening of Arrival. Villeneuve primarily uses static shots and slow creeping zooms as the aliens descend on Earth.
This is worldwide. It is happening right now.
Contrast this with most other recent examples of alien invasion movies, where it's become obligatory to shoot handheld to indicate panic and confusion.
So far, there are 12 unidentified objects spread across the globe.
A rival static camera, however, creates a more somber and thoughtful tone for the movie. Villeneuve does include some camera moves, like this tracking shot. However, as is typical of Villeneuve, they're much slower and carefully choreographed, further underpinning the brooding atmosphere. Villeneuve hasn't always shot like this. In his early film Polytechnique, there are many instances of fast editing and quick camera moves. So it's interesting that as he's moved into bigger budgets, he's felt confident to make stylistic choices, which set him apart from many Hollywood directors. One of the boldest aspects of Villeneuve's direction is his attitude to coverage. Coverage is the term which describes shooting a scene with a variety of shots, often using multiple cameras. However, this can be a lazy way to shoot, as directors don't need to consider how a scene will look until they put it together in post-production. And in practice, many scenes end up cutting between endless close-ups. The problem with excessive close-ups is that it can miss out a lot of a scene. For example, shooting in a wide shot can show a character's place within a landscape, or show the full range of an actor's performance.
You can stay here.
Jesus Christ, you just spray bullets.
The way her body moves in space is so beautiful. She's expressing so much things right now that will disappear in the close-up, I
The
feel.
reason Rezzy's home is I know he wasn't ready for this.
Villeneuve's willingness to leave out coverage is because of his strong visual intuition, an ability to match it to the emotions in a scene.
I had done a shot like that in Asante. I wanted to express their vulnerability and how they feel small in the world. And I remember doing that wide shot and I said, that's it, it's there. Everything is there.
Ultimately, more mediocre directors use fast editing, the moving camera, and excessive coverage for a simple reason: they don't have faith in the audience. But Villeneuve's success demonstrates there is a significant audience for quieter and more thoughtful blockbusters.
It's an art form that is very complex, and to some of my movies, I succeed to make one image in the movie that is a real cinema.
And directors who make their own choices.
There's a lot of deep joy, pain, anger linked with the process. But yeah, that's cinema.